Today's episode is brought to you by Privacy.com.
Head on over to privacy.com/rogue, sign up, and you get $5 of free money to spend on whatever you want privately.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us. Don't make it weird.
Actually, tell us. Put it in the comments.
Okay, I'm really curious,
dare you.
honestly. You ever done this before?
No, never.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
I mean, at least we have a sharp axe. We should point out to everybody, the first thing we did was sharpen the axe.
When you're cutting down a tree, you're using the impact of your swing and the weight of the axe head and everything. The sharpness isn't going to be super important, but we do want it a little bit better.
We should point out that we are using the methods that are outlined in which book again?
Bushcraft 101 by Dave Canterbury. They didn't have Bushcraft for Idiots that I found, so I thought this is a good introduction.
So in this case, he makes a bunch really good points. He says, don't be too liberal in felling a tree, like really think about whether or not a tree needs to go. This one happens to be perfect because it's dead, and between you, me, and the wall, it's a little, I might be able to just push this one over.
That would be awesome. Let's be honest. Well, first off, let's talk about the safety. We want to make sure we don't cut down a tree that doesn't need to be cut down, and you don't want to cut down one that's bigger than you need. So this is reasonably small,
Yeah, what was
right?
the test he had? Like you hug the tree, and if you could tap your shoulder,
Yeah.
then it's small enough for you to either try it alone or try it inexperienced, which we're definitely both.
I mean, two of us make one person, so we're technically alone.
No, that works. So this is in every way an ideal candidate for it. Next up, he points out that you want to make sure that you know what direction you want it to go, that it won't fall onto another tree because that brings its own set of problems. And you also want to know how tall it is, right?
Yes, because you also need to know how far it's going to fall, how far do you need to run to get out of the way. One method is to basically have someone stand near the tree.
Sure, okay.
You're about 6 foot, so you can
Sure.
kind of mark this off on the tree.
Let's say that. Let's put that on the Wikipedia.
You're about 6'3", 6'4", depending on if you got the shoes on or not. And then you can just kind of gauge it from there using like a mark on the handle of your axe. There's another method though.
Oh, yeah, he mentions like if you have a compass that you're able to sort of measure a 45-degree angle, at a 45-degree angle, you moving back exactly will reach to the top of the object. So however far back you are is what's up there. I don't trust myself for anything, so I'm gonna use a tape measure app.
And we're modern rogues.
That's
We're
right,
attempting
that's right.
to be.
I don't know how to use the app.
It's okay, this is how all the lumberjacks do it.
Oh, there you go. So it says about 150 inches.
What is that?
We're gonna have
13?
to math here.
About 13 feet?
Yeah, a little bit more. So now I'll go ahead and measure out. We want it to go this way, and then I'll just drag it till we get the same amount. So what do you think? Do you think it's gonna hit our lean-to?
If it does, we can always angle it a little bit.
Oh, you know what? It will.
Yeah?
It says that's 150 inches up, and it says right here is 182 inches. Okay, so I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we should probably get it going this way, right? If we can, because that's some good, reasonably
you're
flat
right.
area. You really need like 180 degrees of clearance to cut something down, but I mean, when you're in the woods, that's kind of asking a lot, right?
Oh, sure. Also, if you don't care if something hits your wigwam.
I mean, I'd like to keep it intact, but if it does collapse our shelter, that's good internet. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut, your felling cut or your undercut is going to be opening up to the direction you want it to fall.
Got it. So this is basically making it so when the base is weak and wants to pivot, it wants to pivot in the direction we got.
Exactly, and so if we're going that way, we're gonna put our undercut right about here.
All right, hold on here. I'm gonna put on all the safety.
I think you should.
Everybody should have an escape plan. So everybody filming right now.
No matter what happens, get the shot. I'm gonna do the first cut, and it should only go about 1/3 of the way into the tree.
All right, go for it.
I'm gonna try to be more accurate than strong.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Excuses.
Nobody is gonna judge you. It's only the internet.
All right, all right.
So this is a good point. We don't know how rotten this is.
Yeah.
And what I fear is that it may knock forward. So this escape plan stuff is some real stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
At this point, your felling cut looks like it's aiming
It's a little
for
sloppy.
this way. If you can, just get a little bit on this side.
Okay. Oh,
More to your left.
All right, it's supposed to be a Pac-Man-like wedge, you know, flat on the bottom, 45-degree angle.
I think you nailed it, man. Good. But the important part is that it's supposed to go a third of the way in, right? You don't want to overdo it.
Exactly, yeah, we just want a third of the way in, and then we'll come at it from the other side in a second. Oh.
So what happened there? Did it just bite in?
Yeah. Hey, who knew chopping wood was hard?
Here, you want to take a moment?
Yeah, let's
Okay. Yeah, there's like a knot there.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
You can hear it ringing. Is that rebar? Did this grow around rebar or something? Whoops. Ah, there we go. Yeah, changing the angle makes a big difference. Is it a third of the way yet? I guess this is probably also part of the danger is you get tired and you get sloppy.
Yeah.
And you start chopping your feet.
We need a wedge. It's wedge-like. Do we need to get the puck, sharpen the axe again?
Maybe. In fact, that's a good question is how fast does it decay? I'll try to swap it to the other side.
Let me know if you want to swap out again.
That looks like a third from this angle.
How many YouTube hosts does it take to chop down a tree?
So are we calling it? That's a third of the way in,
You
right?
think that's good? What do you think?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we use the regular saw to go the opposite side?
Yeah. We've got a handsaw on the other side that we're gonna saw a third of the way in. This cut is going to be about 2 inches above the apex of our wedge.
Okay.
So the back of Pac-Man's throat, we're gonna cut in there, creating a hinge in the middle that allows it to fall the direction we want.
Am I remembering this right? Like we don't want to go too far because if we go too far, it's possible that it could slip and kick backwards.
Yeah, you don't want shearing. If it kicks backwards,
That's trouble. Do you want to pick us out?
yeah. So like, what do you say, about here maybe?
You just want to make sure it's a totally horizontal angle, right?
Yeah.
It is so hilarious to me how ready to die this tree is.
I know. Well, we picked a good one.
So I would say stop well before you perceive that you're at the 1/3 mark.
Yeah. We should just gotten Griffin out here with our chainsaw. That would have been easier.
Man, Griffin would just show up and give it a mean look and it would fall right over.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it keeps biting as you get deep in there. It was that rebar you were talking about, I'm sure.
This definitely seems like one of those jobs for a, those chain 2-person saws.
Right.
Hang on one second. I'm just gonna apply gentle pressure in the direction that we want it to fall. So hopefully that'll open up that gap ever so much for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll feel it when it goes down.
Oh.
Do you want to see if maybe it's just far enough? Just give it a push.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Commencing Operation Tree Pusher Mark 1. Take that, Mr. Beast. You can hear it, it actually is. I'm just gonna push this thing. It's not even where we cut it. So he's just gonna steal this tree in the middle of the night. Timber, we did it. We are expert bushcrafters. I couldn't be happier. Oh, that was awesome. We've talked about privacy.com before. For the uninitiated, it's a way to generate cards on the fly where they don't sell your information. You could create one-time use cards, basically burner cards. You could set limits and all that stuff. But I just discovered a brand new use for them.
I'm afraid to ask. Is this going to be referred to as Exhibit A in the future?
No. It's nothing nefarious. In fact, it's the reverse. My main business credit card had gotten compromised 3 times over the last year. I'm pretty good at reading up on everything.
Oh, you know it wasn't me.
You could tell, like, okay, I was not in Fredericksburg, Texas during this time. That's a fraudulent charge. And then they have to send you a new card. It's a whole big thing.
It's a nightmare.
After the third time though, we were talking about it and we're like, I'm pretty sure we've nailed it down to 3 different local vendors who all take our card information over the phone. And I'm assuming that they just are storing it unsecured. And you got some meth head 26-year-old out there who just grabs it and then they clone the card. We kind of, hopefully,
Maybe taught him how.
hopefully he already knew it and we're not the ones who taught it. But he cloned the card and it was always the same pattern. It was up in North Austin. He would do first like $1 and then it would be whole numbers at gas stations, like exactly $75 or whatever. So here's what I'm gonna do. I generated 3 different burners.
You're setting a trap.
I'm doing a sting operation using privacy.com, right? So I created 3 different burners, and of course you're not responsible for fraudulent charges anyway, but I set a limit big enough that I'm like, oh, here's the new card, well, what happened with the old card? And then we'll just see what happens next. I'm conducting a real investigation.
You're gonna know where the leak is.
I'm gonna show up in a trench coat with nunchucks and laser pointers.
I wanna come.
Yes, okay, we'll confront them. And it's all possible thanks to privacy.com. Now, of course, if I was smart, I would make sure to make each one a one-time use card and I'd never have to worry about the fraud, but I want to lure them into my trap. I'm so excited.
This is great. I mean, aside from all the benign uses of limiting your month-to-month expenditures or preventing recurring charges on something you subscribe to that you meant to cancel, this is actually a case of you protecting yourself and catching bad guys. That's brilliant.
Yeah, dude. As a parent, I love the fact that I could create one-time use cards that my kids can't go totally nuts when they want to get this app or that doodad for some iOS something or other.
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, I know. And now also, as we continue to grow, I think we're gonna have to look at the pro and the team-based systems where you're able to generate like up to 60 cards per month.
Wow, so go to privacy.com/rogue, get $5 of free money, protect your money, and
Help me solve a crime.
help Brian solve a
I'm
crime.
on to you, the scam swindlers out there.
I don't think it's any of them. I mean, it might be.
Yeah?
Is it?
Somebody's gonna create an account and says, I got you.